Full disclosure, news and commentary number 44, 44, 44, 44, 44. It's a brave new world. Sorry you gotta go. Watching Demolition Man. It's good shit. Are you familiar with Brave New World? Huxley, written by Huxley. That's why the Sandra Bullock character is named Huxley. There's all kinds of great shit about Brave New World that are kind of woven into Demolition Man. I saw recently where it was named one of the most underrated movies, and I would tend to agree. It's fucking very good. Movie I think is the most underrated movie of all time is Blood In, Blood Out. Having a party this Saturday. You're invited, dickhead. You want to come down? Fucking just message me, contact me in a myriad of ways. Comments down below have a million ways to contact me. And please, feel free. Shit, it's going to be dope. Blood in, blood out cake. Going to watch the movie. Going to be a bunch of people over here. Going to have a good ass time. All right. What's the commentary about? Hitting all those beats, yeah? Commentary is about... what I learned going over the predictions that we made last year, which ones came true, which ones didn't. That would be AC Mack, Tyson Dean, Larry Goodman, and myself. Tomorrow night on the Tipping Point, we're going to do another prediction show. So going over the predictions from last year and seeing how accurate each one of us was individually, kind of told me something about the state of Georgia wrestling, and I wanted to kind of talk about that. Not kinda, I am going to talk about that. Shit, there's a lot to go over. It's awesome. I already see that I already have at least 2 rants laid out, a tea sipping segment, commentary, which I've already talked about that I'm going to do. Let's jump into it. Thank you, Brett and Brian and Dan and Derek and Diana and Jeffrey, Josh, Larry, not that one, the other one, Logan, Rob Rod, Southern Honor, and Double Dropkick. Special thanks to now 4 people who are at the $25 level contributing to the Goodman Awards. Myron, the OG Myron, bumped his up to 25. Viral did as well, and Transcendent, and then, of course, Eric. Fucking Dynamite Soul, who's putting out a great series about him being World Walker, wrestling in different places. He wrestled for, I believe, Dutch Championship Wrestling. Is that right? And then he put out a bunch of stuff about fucking being there in Holland, and proud of that guy. And I think he's putting out a lot of great content. Kyle Matthews continues to pump out and put out a lot of great content. Gunnar Miller does as well. And I'm seeing promos all over the place. Loved that fucking vignette that fucking Southern Fried put out with Griff Garrison and then David Ali jumping in there. I fucking love it. It's just good shit happening all over the place. That means this is generally going to be a positive vibe. That's the feeling that you're getting, but we'll have to fucking see. Speaking of positive shit, I've gotten some great stuff to unbox. I was going to unbox just one thing, but this thing does not feel or resemble a t-shirt. But this does. This I got today. So, we're going to do the t-shirt so I can switch out. As much as I fucking love this shirt, Scarface, Kingpin. Come on, this shirt's dope as fuck. It's dope as fuck, you say, but... what the fuck is this shirt? It's red. It's red. It's unusual. I usually don't get red shirts. Patreon people will get this more. By the way, I put out a Patreon video already before this, entitled Fire Extinguisher Spitting and Shit. You should be on my Patreon. $5 level, you get those videos that I'm putting out more than one a week now. This is going to make sense to them. That's tough. That's tough. No Life Shack is my favorite fucking commentary channel on YouTube. Big fan of the No Life Shack. Now I got a fucking shirt. That's tough. Fucking love No Life Shack. Go check him out. Not that he needs the help fucking from me. That guy's all over the goddamn place. He reviews all kinds of music, the latest rap shit that comes out. I think he's fucking hilarious. I think he's really, really smart too, and really open to things. And I'm going to try to be much more open as well. In that spirit, videos that I'm going to put out, I still need to do that Be Kind review about the podcast and Drew Blood's great writing. Can't wait to take a look at that shit. But I've redubbed instead of shit show investigations because that wasn't people didn't want to seem to be a part of that. I understand. I've renamed it the Platinum Show Investigations, and I've picked my first show to go to on February 15th. So I'm going to be putting that video together, sort of taking a look at the promotion from an outsider's perspective. What are the videos that they're putting out? What do their posters look like and all that? And making a bunch of judgments based on that. And then I'm going to go to the show and report on what I find. Yeah, should be fun as fuck. All right. Wrestling United drew 90. It's good, right? Renegade Championship Wrestling, hopefully has that 33 crowd is way in their rearview mirror. Drew 64. Southern Fried 264, and an appearance by Jacob Ashworth. Apparently he rolled in during the third match. Didn't attract too much attention to himself, though he kind of did. He had a fucking gun on his hip, apparently. It's fucking weird. Hugged a few. Took a bunch of pictures. And then helped with the ring after the show. Definitely very interesting. I don't really have a lot to say about it at this point, beyond that. Yeah, let's talk about that. So Southern Fried 264 by Rob Rod's count. It's got the little shit, right? Southern Violence in Wrestling, and this has actually been confirmed, not only through pictures, but through independent sources, 273 paid. Think about that. Southern Fried, which draws a really good crowd, because right now they've been barely hitting 2. They had the show where they had 4 because they had like a couple hundred from the church, right? But this is a show where they finally felt like they're fucking making momentum. Though outside of the main event, it sounded like it was a show that was kind of like, set a lot of stuff up. Though the return for Ike seemed like it was really great. But Southern Fried is outdrawn by a group that was tied for 10th. Southern Violence in Wrestling 273 paid. The fuck? It's fascinating. That's what I'm saying. New Japan in Atlanta, 855. 855. And when they were in Durham, they 625. And then that show that they did in Florida, which Larry said was Tampa, but it wasn't. It was farther out than Tampa, but it wasn't quite to Miami. Whatever the fuck. That one drew about. That one was sold out in the high 600s. Pretty fucking successful. Brian should be proud. Now, word on the curb is, does he have heat with New Japan? Blah, blah, blah. All these different people are telling me that. I gotta figure New Japan's gotta be happy with those fucking crowd numbers, if nothing else. We'll have to see, and I'm sure I'll hear from Brian as far as fucking heat or no heat or whatever. I'm just throwing it out there because I've heard that from a number of different places, but fuck. I would think that they were happy about that. And Larry also put up the sort of like retraction that there were no Georgia people there. Trevor Aon was there, which is good for him. And Anthony Henry as well. Of course, good for him. You know, who else should have been there? Everybody. Yeah. Rant. So, New Japan rolls into Atlanta, draws 855 in the same building where Impact is going to be there for 2 shows. Any predictions on how that's going to go? You think Impact's going to get that big of a paid crowd? All of the people who keep saying that I'm undervaluing Impact, that they're doing this great shit, and they have this TV show, and their show's better than it's ever been, or it's been in a very long time, and why do I say that they're not in the bigs? Why do I put other leagues in front of them? They should be number, some people have said as high as three. Three? Okay, WWE, AEW. You would put fucking Impact at three or four? Would you put Impact above New Japan? You know what? Let's go head up. What are your fucking predictions on how Impact is going to do in that building? You think they're going to get you can add together their two crowds that they're going to have there for 2 nights. And you know what? It's not going to be fucking as much as New Japan did with one show. Now you're saying, Steve, that's not quite fair. It's a different. Is it not fair? Can we just quit fucking around and can we quit bullshitting each other about these fucking crowds? Impact is not going to draw. That is my prediction. I didn't say it wasn't going to be a good show. I didn't say it wasn't going to be an eventful show. Though, do you think you're going to have fucking a new champion from anybody in Impact? I don't think so. And fucking we have new IWGP tag champs that were crowned in Atlanta. Very exciting for that crowd, which was deemed eclectic, meaning a wide variety of different people coming to see that show. And they were into the show. I don't think Impact's going to have the same thing. I just don't. Let's quit bullshitting ourselves. I didn't say Impact wasn't important or wasn't interesting or whatever. Are you going to put them above Ring of Honor even? Well, we'll see what kind of crowd Impact draws. I still see the crowds that you draw as a measure of a scoreboard that's still interesting to note. Can I say without that WWE, every indication right now for them is that their crowds are down. They're having to cancel house shows and they lose money on fucking house shows, which I've been saying forever, but now it's fucking official, right? So they're having to cancel shows and less people are watching and their stock is dropping in anticipation of their fucking quarterly report, which is going to come out Thursday, so we won't be able to discuss it on Tipping Point, unfortunately, but that shit still matters on fucking planet Earth. All right? APW drawing 135. Drew Blood on the card. Did Drew Blood help draw that number? I'm sure he would say that he did, and I would say that he did. Now, how many was he responsible for? I don't know, but he was responsible for somebody. This notion that people are not a draw is fucking bogus. We've talked about that before. Empower, which was said to be a good show, but a really light fucking crowd. They didn't promote that show worth a fucking shit. And quite frankly, what was your reason to go? Now you're like, Steve, that's not fair. It's in that building and blah. Hey, the deathmatch show got fucking 122 of people paying top dollar. And I said to other people, yeah, they did a great job of fucking promoting that show. And then they got the stamp from Jeff G. Bailey. That shit fucking matters. And Jeff G. Bailey's there. And what is the picture of their show? It's Jeff with two of the guys, and they're fucking bleeding from their head. Jeff's being Jeff. Again, Tank had that show named after him. You think Tank putting his stamp on that fucking show mattered? Of course it did. Is Jeff putting his stamp on this show because he loves deathmatch wrestling and he was very proud of that show and he fucking wrote about that show. And he fucking put his fucking stamp of approval on that show. That shit fucking matters. Marketing matters. Putting out fucking videos matters. Getting together with the fucking tapped out guys fucking matters. Gotta do that shit. Gotta do that shit. Gotta put in that work. Gotta put in that work. We'll talk more about that in a bit. Mm. Um, it's time. Let's save this unboxing when I jump into the commentary. That's how you know I've jumped into the commentary. But it's time. Motherfucking T-set. Because we've got a little bit to discuss, folks. Give me the boiling water. You see, more and more people are reporting their stuff. Yeah. And by the way, the groups that are bullshitting about their crowds, I know I haven't pointed that kind of thing out for a while. And the reason is because I'm just keeping track of who's bullshitting. So when I put out that top 10 promotions that bullshit us, I've got the ammo. So chances are, if you think you're getting away with something, you are not. Just a warning out there to different groups, especially newer groups that have started posting their results and their crowd numbers. I know when you're bullshitting. That's tough when I put you on that fucking list and embarrass the fuck out of you. Let's sip some tea about a show that didn't report their results, but I found out nonetheless. Ooh, the green tea's strong, boy. That's tough. Georgia World Class. In a show in conjunction with Pro Wrestling Caribbean. I need another fucking... Is there any left on the bottom of the bowl? Yep, a little bit. And I'll leave a little bit to finish off in just a bit, because I have a feeling I'll want it to celebrate. So, in case you missed it, Georgia World Class is the one that used Southern Fried footage on their TV show with Pro Wrestling Caribbean, passing it off as themselves. Right? Dick move, bullshit move, Bush League move. But there they were, working together, both the thieves of the footage and those who try to benefit from it on their TV show, Pro Wrestling Caribbean and Georgia World Class, at a Latino bar in Gainesville, Georgia. And just to show you, I'm not bullshitting, and my sources know what the fuck they're talking about, I got a few details in here. So when the other details come up, you know, not necessarily they're 100% true, but the people who are telling me shit tell me all the shit, right? $20 tickets. Wrestlers who did not help Ox set up the ring. Bad look already. How many people did they have? Did they have a shitty crowd, Magic 8 Ball? Outlook good. Yeah, they had a shitty crowd. They have under 100? Come on. Where are you coming? It is decidedly so. Yeah, they had under 100. Did they have under 50? Yes, definitely. God damn, this is one positive 8 Ball, but it's the 8 Ball's right. Surely they didn't have fucking 25. Concentrate and ask again. Did they have 25, Magic 8 Ball? Did they have 25? It is decidedly so. That's right, motherfuckers. Stolen footage and a TV show and all this other shit. We're going to do this combined thing and it's going to be amazing. And 25 or less paid. A colossal, unequivocal failure. But wait, there's more. You know how I was saying in a previous video that something that's really great is when's the last time we talked about a show where the boys got fucked over and were given a bunch of bullshit stories by the promoter? We haven't had one of those stories in a long time. Though Ronnie Gossett's soon to run a show, so I'm sure we'll have one soon enough. Ronnie. Um, but nobody got paid. And the boys were told, and feel free to fucking deny this, people involved with Georgia World Class and Pro Wrestling Caribbean. Feel free to counter this if I don't fucking know what the fuck I'm talking about. Chances are I know I'm not going to hear from anybody, except for maybe wrestlers confirming that this is true under the protection of anonymity, which is fine. I'm more than willing to do a follow-up video to admit that I was wrong or to confirm that I was right. That they were told the money will be mailed to them in the next week. Now, that show happened on January 25th, which means this is the next week. So, wrestlers who were told that they would get paid next week, tell me, did you? Or was this not only a poorly promoted, poorly attended show surrounded by people who wouldn't even help Ox with the ring, so they weren't paying due one? But to be fair, they didn't have any dues to pay because they didn't have any fucking money because they didn't get paid. But they would gladly pay you Tuesday for your hard work today. Wimpy, wimpy, wimpy. Fucking piece of shit promotion. Pieces of shit. That's tough. Mm, mm, mm. It's commentary time. Yay. Oh, no, it's not. I have another rant to go on. Tapped out guys. Big fans. I love them. Um, and they have their wrestlers with the upside. Right? Griff Garrison, Shalandra Royal, Jordan Kingsley, David Ali, Kenzie Page. And they probably already know what I'm going to say. Um, uh, it's come out. I mean, you know, he wasn't specific about it, but Joe Black was no doubt very upset about being kept off this list, and others were as well. I got to say, it's going to sound like a defense. And I just want to put this out here. It's hard to do fucking lists. I do them. Case you missed the fucking 16 or so that I've already done. And sometimes mistakes are made. And sometimes omissions happen. And sometimes restricting yourself makes things very difficult. I can say that as being part of the group that was determining who are the 5 nominees in each category. It's fucking tough, right? And if they wanted to keep the number down of those with the upside, they had a really yeoman's task to do. But I gotta say, this list is pretty shitty. Um, to not have any number of guys um, seemed incorrect. Now I haven't listened to the show, and now I need to go ahead and do that. Of course, I'll do that during my long run tomorrow. Um, but I gotta say, I think sometimes, and I fall into this trap as well, and I think the boys do, and I think wrestling fans do. And so this is something that we got to get out of, and this is the point of the rant. Sometimes we want to find the diamond in the rough or the unusual choice so badly that we short shift the obvious and the worthy choices. And we need to be careful of that. Um, And that goes when you look at your own rosters, promotions. That goes for when we want to heap praise or throw criticism at anything. Sometimes we want to tell the unusual thing, or we want to say the unusual thing. And I get the instinct. Or we want to fight against the grain, or be devil's advocate, or be the first to a story. And I get that. But sometimes you just have to call a thing out correctly first. You have to start from the top and work your way down. Um, now, I'm not saying that's necessarily what happened with the tapped out guys, but if you've got a thing called the upside, those with the biggest upside, and Joe Black is not on that list, I don't know what the fuck to tell you. Except it seems just like a glaring mistake. And there's a couple of names on here that I was kind of like, really? They're the ones with the biggest upside in the state. Um, there's a couple on here that they ain't never gonna make it. I could just tell you that just looking. They ain't never gonna make it. Now maybe they'll prove me wrong. Maybe they'll prove the tapped out guy's right. I doubt it. Um, but isn't that what's fun? That's part of the fun. That's the end of the rant. This is the end of the rant. It's part of the fun about the fact that there's so many people putting out content. Now you could put out lists like Scott Hensley, where he's like the 100, 10,000 or whatever, and he's just about getting names on a page. And a lot of the reason he does the 100 is because he knows that the boys like seeing their own fucking name, don't we all? But those lists, once you get to 100, they don't really matter. So the balancing act is you want a list that's tight and strong, but you can't leave out the ones that absolutely deserve to be there. You just can't. I know Myron and Nick do their level best. Certainly Larry does. Certainly I do. But getting called out and having people critique us is part of the game. And I, for one, welcome it. Getting checked is an important part of a hockey game. And I gotta say, for Myron and Nick, this is one time that they probably got slammed up against the boards and deserved it a little bit. But don't worry, my time is coming. My time is constantly happening. Shit, I'm like motherfucking Bruce Lee in this bitch. Everywhere I go down the street, there's always some fucking other Chinese guy challenging me to a fight or some shit's going down. When you're the biggest and the baddest, that's what happens. All right, let's get to the commentary. And that means I get to open and unbox another gift, motherfuckers. Motherfuckers. While I'm ooh, it's wrapped up tight. This Saturday, and then once midnight hits, Sunday, that's my birthday. I'm 48. 48 years old. Holy shit. It's amazing, really. 2 years away from 50. Whew. This is fucking nice, whatever it is. It's in these hard boxes. Please say there's a note. Please say there's a note. There's a note. There's not a note. Oh, there's a note here. Folks, I'll just show you what they are. You know what that is. You've seen that picture a million times because I fucking love it. It's a picture of me busting open Jeff G. Bailey at Anarchy. But what they are... playing cards. 2 decks of playing cards with me and Jeff G at the back. Like in poker, the Joker is useless. Call me Arkham Asylum. I'm crazy with bars. Holy shit! I got 2 decks. One's for me, and what's the other one for? I'll just. It's just like the extra Bruiser Brody shirt I got, and I assume that's why the person got me 2 decks. Whoever it is, fucking whoever you sent, please take credit for this shit. It's fucking unbelievable. I mean, I know who sent me this, but this. So the other deck, you want it? It's a fucking pretty unique item. There's only 2 in the world. This is going to go along with that fucking Bruiser Brody shirt that I have a double of. It's going to be the biggest fucking whoever gives me the most money for the charity thing that I do. And please look at StephenPlatinum.com. Click the link. See the thing that I'm doing on President's Day where I play Marvel Contest of Champions for 24 hours straight. A number of fucking content creators on YouTube who cover like Marvel Contest of Champions shit are going to promote my shit as well. My goal, $1,000 for the Arnold Palmer Children's Hospital. The other goal is to place #1 in that particular arena. I realized last year I should have been #1, but that there were people fucking cheating and using bots to basically just play nonstop while they slept. The fucking bots would just play for them and instantly kill the thing so they would pile up points. But I've been saving all year as a way of equalizing with these things that increase my points. Long story short, this is about beating the bots this year. Fuck it. I'm going to get $1,000 in independent donations, independent of the people that match. And people do match, so it's another great reason to donate. It's a fucking as noble cause as you get. Arnold Palmer Children's Hospital is the #1 children's hospital in Florida, helping all kinds of kids. They handle more premature babies. They handle more fucking kids that are a part of disasters, and they don't. And fucking, you can't get shut out because of income or lack of insurance or any of that. So they're fucking helping kids and if you donate the most money to me, fuck it. You get the Bruiser Brody shirt. You get this shit, whatever Steven Platinum shirt I come out with, and God knows I'm going to get work to chip in all kinds of shit. I'll make it worth your while, but thank you to who sent me the fucking playing cards. These are dope as fuck. I'm going to definitely do some kind of thing at my party with them. Um, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Fuck. Fucking the people that watch my shit, you're the bomb. What can I fucking say? Last month, I had more people viewing me in all the videos that I put out than I've ever had. It just keeps growing. I think we're close to 180 subscribers. Once I hit 200, you're going to get the fucking music video with me and my kids. I'm almost done with the top 10 videos of last year. And I keep spitting shit out, but you guys inspire me. Thank you. Commentary. How far we come. So I went over the production episode so I could cite some statistics on tomorrow's night's tipping point. By the way, tomorrow night's tipping point is going to be awesome. But the main takeaway that I got going over those predictions is just how far we come. For perspective, the measuring stick of being a top promotion in the state is now 150. If you're not getting 150, it's really hard to consider you a top promotion in the state. Well, what's the big deal, Steve? The big deal is there was a time where you had to get at least 75, and now it's double, right? Now, when we have a debate about who's the top promotion, it used to be between 2, maybe 3. Now, Southern Honor, right? Southern Fried, Viral, Anarchy, Action. And then former winners of Promotion of the Year are still in the mix and drawing big crowds in the case of like Wrestle America. Or in the case of Peach State, look like they're on their way back to getting decent crowds. And former promotions of the year are still out there doing shows there again, like Platinum Championship Wrestling. You got groups like Southern Violence, which at the midpoint of last year seemed like a joke, even though they had been around. By the way, they just had their 5th anniversary show, and they're drawing 273. They're drawing more than what I would consider the second biggest promotion in the state. And then there's any number of promotions that are finding ways to innovate and stay relevant. Looking at you, ProCell. I think what I was shown was, and the talents. I mean, think about the awards, and then think about the people who weren't even up for an award that are still making noise. And the fact that Danny Jordan's all over the place. And the fact that we can have these public bitchings back and forth about, oh, like Danny Jordan's begging for fucking bookings, WrestleMania. But you know what? She got one. And not so quietly, we have a number of women who are wrestling in the state, and we have a number of places that talk about wrestling in the state. And we have a number of people who, when this video drops, are going to get notifications of it and are going to be excited to listen to it. Or listen to it with their stomach churning. Is he going to talk about me? Or listen to it like, I can't wait to hate watch that motherfucker. But the point is, there's content for you to mark your triumphs and your tragedies and make them a permanent part of the landscape. And if you think that's not exciting, you don't know what the fuck exciting is. And where Jeff G. Bailey can go from the guy who fuck wrestling, I don't want anything to do with it, to now he can write about what he likes to write about. And he can also drop a thing about the NWA 53rd, about when Wildside fucking attacked Florida. And then we have a debate back and forth, and all these big wigs in Florida like Ron Niemi pipe up. And there's this great thing back and forth, and Bill Barons gets in there, and everybody gets to reminisce, and then Matt Griffin gets to fucking put himself over like mad because he's Matt Griffin, and that's what he does. And people get to debate back and forth, and we get to go back and forth about shit. And Jacob Ashworth's gone, but now he's fucking come back, and he's at APW, and now he's sitting in the crowd at Southern Fried, and there's all of us to mark the moment, talk about it publicly, and then it's all out on Facebook, and different people are talking about shit, and they want to debate. And folks, look how far we've come in just a year. A year ago, Southern Honor was getting their name out there. At this time, they were really beginning to get momentum a year ago. But they weren't the far and away number one yet. A year ago, Southern Fried was drawing crowds 300-400. A year ago, Anarchy was on its ass a little bit. A year ago, we weren't sure if Peach State was still going to be around. A year ago, Platinum Championship Wrestling was gone, seemingly never to come back. A year ago, Logan Creed stood alone at number one, and nobody else was even close. A year ago, a lot of people thought that Alan Angels could be the wrestler of the year. A year ago, Jeff G. Bailey was out of sight, out of mind. A year ago, Gary Lamb was just the prick that had some kind of problem with Daryl Morris, and they had some kind of controversy brewing. But GPW was going to clean their clock. A year ago, Danny Jordan had won female personality / wrestler of the year, but hadn't quite found her identity. A year ago, MLW seemed like a thing that might be okay, but was it still going to be around? A year ago, is Impact still there? Which is a question we still sometimes ask. A year ago, whatever happened with that Billy Corgan NWA shit? Is that actually going to be a fucking thing? It seems like they're not fucking doing anything. And certainly they're not going to have anything to do with Georgia. A year ago, we were talking about AWE's gone, and there's this like fight thing, and I don't know, man. I fucking think those guys are done. A year ago. Chris Nelm's involved in that Southern Violence fucking thing, and it all just seems like shitbird shit, and it just seems like they're all just gonna fucking sink and go away. A year ago. Stephen Platinum, he's putting out a couple of these videos and whatever the fuck. He sure seems to think highly of himself. He's not going to keep up with that shit, that's for sure. A year ago. Georgia wrestling history, I mean, yeah, I mean, the tipping point's cool, I guess, but I mean, it's the same shit, right? They're just going to do the same shit again and again and again. A year ago. Yeah, Tapped Out's cool. And a lot of people listen to it, but I mean, in my world, it's either you listen to Tapped Out or Georgia wrestling history. And Stephen Platinum, who gives a fuck about him? A year ago, I mean, Gunnar Miller gives a fuck. That guy doesn't fucking wrestle anymore. He doesn't fucking matter. A year ago. Women wrestling in the state, I mean, it's all right. I mean, there's still some people, but like the really important ones, Aja Pereira and like fucking Dementia or Dubla Rose. They're not even really in the state anymore. So women's wrestling doesn't really fucking matter. A year ago, AC Max great, but I mean, this is the year maybe he just goes back and it gets lost in the shuffle again. A year ago. One fall, I mean, yeah, sure. I mean, it might be nice, but we've had a lot of wrestling schools pop up that were seemingly really nice, but they're just a flash in the pan. A year ago. AEW, I mean, it seems like maybe they got a billionaire backing them and all this other horseshit, but it's just going to be another fucking all talk, no walk thing. It's never going to fucking happen. We're never going to fucking relive any kind of fucking Monday Night Wars esque feel to a thing. And there's just no competition for Vince a year ago. I mean, yeah, the ratings are kind of falling for WWE, but the ratings don't really matter anymore. They don't matter anymore. A year ago. Bray Wyatt, I mean, they don't know what the fuck to do with him, and whatever dumb shit that they come up with, it's never gonna catch. A year ago. We've come a long way. And the scene is stronger than it's ever been. I'll just say it like that. Doesn't mean everything's as good as it could be. But folks, even within the last 2 weeks, you had a deathmatch show take place in the landmark arena. And there weren't howls of protest, and on the contrary, it went incredibly well. Yeah, you still got promoters that bullshit, but they can't quite get away with it like they did before, can they? Yeah, the boys still suffer, but they don't have to do it silently anymore. And when they're not so silent about it anymore, it now becomes a matter of public discourse and debate, and the needle moves ever so slightly. I'm not going to pretend that everything's changed overnight and that there's this thing where everything is instantly better than it used to be, but it's better. It's better. When you engage in untoward behavior of various kinds, there is now a public rebuke that didn't happen in quite the same way. And I'm proud to be part of that. I said my goal with this shit was to help clean up Georgia wrestling and make it better. And that has not changed. It's just now my voice is getting a little louder and a little bigger, which means I have to regulate myself a little bit more and make sure I'm directing my poison pen and my sword of vengeance in the right direction. And I'm going to do so. to the best of my ability. Here comes the reverse. Yes, we've come very far. But if history has taught us anything, it's usually when things are going well in pro wrestling in general, what they don't do is what they should do, which is to plant the seeds for future success and to be able to shift when necessary. Instead, pro wrestling rides that horse until it dies. And then they beat that dead horse to continue to move. And then they stay on that dead horse way too long. So, the promotions that are having success right now and experiencing growth again, what seeds are you planting that can flower later while you have such fertile ground happening? Wrestlers that are achieving perhaps the biggest success they've ever had in their careers. What are you going to do to continue to improve, to continue to get your name out there in discernible, important, tangible ways? How are you going to outdistance your peers? Because never forget, it's a fucking war out there. And even though there's the bald-headed mafia that's mounting for this fight against Gary Lamb or whoever else, at the end of the day, it's like every fucking reality show out there. You can form alliances, and we can pretend we get along. But at the end of the day, there's one. Number one. And that goes for everything. This has been Full Disclosure.